Okay. So hello, Mandla.
Hello, Pamela.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you, Mandla, for giving me the time to do this interview with me. And I think this is the best place to actually have this interview, so that you can tell me a little bit more about what is it that you guys have done and where you are right now. So I think the first question that I have for you, Mandla, is if you can tell the guys who is Mandla Gazi, and where are you from?
Oh, Mandla Gazi is a girl from Port St. John's. I grew up in Port St. John's. My family had a business there, and I went to primary school there. High school, I went to Queenstown, and then I came to Joburg to study hospitality management. And I worked for hotels for a bit, and then worked for a bank in project management in the HR space. And when I left the bank, after being there for 10 years, I was a business partner. And then while I was at the bank, I started my business in catering called Fresh Yumm. And Fresh Yumm has been growing in different spaces. Like right now, we've got Fresh Yumm Cafe that we've just launched in the middle of COVID.
Wow. All right, Mandla, yes, so that is actually very interesting. During COVID times, you guys started a restaurant and started opening. But what I want to ask you, I think first is, people in banking stay in banking for years and years and years. What made you decide, you know what, I'm okay now. I'm tired of banking and I want to get out. And was it easy making that transition?
It was, I guess it was just a natural decision for me, because my passion has always been in hospitality and in food, mostly the food part and the service side in hospitality. So as much as I was good at banking, because there's a service part that I could perform and feel fulfilled at, but then there was that passion nagging thing that said, this is not where you're supposed to be. Like right now, I don't mind waking up at any time and do what I want to do, because it doesn't feel like work. To me, it's just joy of giving my passion every day and being able to see other people enjoy what I can produce. So I feel like I'm serving.
Okay. And so do you feel that the transition was easy? So for the guys that are listening and are thinking, I'd like to follow my passion, do you feel it was an easy transition to move from a secure job to a business?
That's why I started while I was still working, so that I could secure some of, let me say, clientele. Clients are not guaranteed and stuff, but then it was sort of like building relationships and making sure that when I then go full-time into my business, then at least I've got some clientele that can sustain me and kickstart me, let me put it like that, to take it to another level. So relationships, the quality of my product and whatever was what I had built on, and also them pushing me to do this full time and stuff, because they were enjoying what I was doing. And just give it time, give yourself, secure some cushion for about 3 to 5 months at least, so that at least you're not worrying about electricity and stuff and all those things, like the day-to-day things, while you are still trying to build your business. Then it will give you sort of like time to focus on building your business actually.
Okay. There's a couple of things that you said which are quite key that pops to me. Quality, service. And I'm going to be a little bit controversial now, because in the time where, in most cases, people are saying that black businesses are not giving quality in some spaces, services in some spaces, what do you say to people in terms of how do we sustain it? What is it about service that you feel is so important?
Firstly, you have to love it. It has to speak to you. Firstly, I think quality speaks to you. Would you eat that? Seeing that I'm in food, would you eat what you are serving? is it fresh enough? Is it appetizing and all that? So what I put on my plate or whatever that I do is a reflection of me. That's how I take it. If I'm putting up let me say, substandard or something that is not up to standard out there, that's my reflection. That means that I'm that person. I take it so personally, and that's how I connect with people. With Mandla is putting out a quality product out there. That means that she values herself. Well, maybe, yeah, I value myself too much to consume food that is quality as well and stuff, and take myself to places that I feel I can associate with and stuff.
Okay. No, that's very true, Mandla. Do you feel that is something, and especially looking at service, do you feel that is something that is an innate thing in people, or it's something that should be learned along the way?
Something that you learn along the way. In terms of you get into an industry not knowing how far you can go and what is expected of you and whatever. So studying hospitality management taught me, this is how you set a table, this is how you approach a client, this is the way that you can fix things and stuff. And then other things you learn from exposure, let me put it like that. Exposure, you see things and you're like, oh, I like that, and it made me feel good. So you have to take everything that you like and makes you feel good as well and incorporate it into your working and give it to other people so that they can experience it as well. So I guess traveling and being open to going to see what other people are doing out there and stuff. Because let's admit it, there's nothing new under the sun. It's just the spirit that you put into it as a person. What kind of soul, what kind of spirit that you put in there. I mean, everyone can learn how to cook and whatever, but then do you cook it with love? Do you cook it with care? When you are presenting it, I think it shows. I always say that to my chefs, that if you're not in a good space, please don't cook, because I've seen it with myself. When I cook something and I'm not balanced or I'm going through stuff, it doesn't come out the way that it usually comes out or I intend it to. So being in your zen really helps.
It does. And Mandla, okay, you spoke a little bit about traveling, and I'd like you to elaborate a little bit on that. And the reason why is that I think it's so important that people understand that, we don't travel always just in J to have fun and have a party. But how has it enhanced your guys' business, you feel?
Lately, not even lately, every time when we travel or I travel, I always sort of like look what's happening in that country if I'm going out of the country, around food at that time and stuff. Because I remember recently one of my travels, I went to Bali. I sort of like focused on the Ubud Food Festival. I wanted to know what the people in Indonesia, what do they focus on. I want to know the taste and all of those things, so that I can get more exposure and not just go to the restaurants that are there. Because if it's a food festival, that's where maybe you can get different types of street food, hotel food, restaurant food and whatever. Everyone is showcasing and they're showcasing their products, and that's where you get to know about other countries or products and stuff. And it's always around food. I don't know, it just happens naturally. Maybe it's something that I gravitate towards, because other people who are architects and whatever, maybe they will go to places that have historical buildings and stuff and whatever.
Okay. Yeah. All right, that's great. And then the other thing that I just want to find out, and I know this has become one of those questions that just comes to people all the time. Being a female in the industries, because it's still all of our industries are still very male dominated. How do you walk through, and how do you feel that you are doing as a business or an entrepreneur as a female in the hospitality space?
Before I see myself as a female, I see myself as an entrepreneur. So to me, it's never been a hurdle or anything that stands in my way. It's just me trying to be me and trying to be in the space that I want to be in. Being female has not opened or closed any doors for me. So just like being black has not been opened or closed any doors for me. It's what do you want to do and how badly do you want to do it? And I see people as people. If you're a man or what, you're a person before you are anything else. You're a person before you are your title, your CEOs or your whatever. So I approach you on a human level, and let's see what we can do. And I think that for me has really opened doors because I connect with people as people before I see myself as anything else. This is just a shell.
Yeah.
But what comes out and what I need to be doing and working towards is the first thing.
Yeah. So I think I agree with you, Linda, because at some point we need to get to the place where it's no longer it's a female entrepreneur, it's a whatever. We need to get to a place where we are just identifying, following our passions and doing what we need to do and doing them right. Okay, so my other question is, you are working with your sister. So it's become you and your sister. So talk us about that. How has that been? You know, family, sister, you know.
It's a support. We support each other in a very good way, I guess, because we know each other. So we know each other's weaknesses and strengths. So I would never give her a morning a morning task. She's not a morning person and whatever, and I know what she enjoys and stuff. So we sort of like balance each other in a way. I'm more of I need to make sure that the food, the quality and stuff. She's more of a front of house person, and yeah, so we sort of like, she gets the ideas, I build on them to say this is how we can do it, and it works very well. I don't know, and because we know that we cannot hate each other and banish each other or not see each other because we're family. Blood is blood. I don't care how hard we fight and whatever, but at the end of the day, we have to work it out. But there's more good relations than fighting. I don't remember when I fought with her, as much as sometimes she annoys me and I annoy her, but that is sort of like a few minutes things and whatever, and we talk about it and we move on. And you know that, oh, I know that this is going to annoy Axie, but you must choose whether you're going to do it or not do it.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right, Mandla, thank you so much. So just my last question, and just maybe something that you can send out to young entrepreneurs starting off. Do you have any advice or anything that you would like to say to them?
Well, listen to your gut feel. You will know when you are going the right direction and when you are going the wrong direction. Choose what is ethical. Start with what you have. Don't ever put any barriers or blames or whatever that I don't have money, I can't start this or whatever. If you want to sell something and you've got money to buy one and sell it, start there. Start with what you have, build on it, and do not expect other people to help you to build your own business. Right now, all my businesses, I never had a loan from a bank. I never borrowed a cent. Everything I started from my own house, cooking for one client 6 years ago. That one client kicked off that business. So start with what you have.
Thank you so much, Mandla.
And learn along the way.
Yay, I love that. Thank you so much, Mandla. This is Mandlakazi Mbete from Fresh Yumm. And we're going to be speaking to her sister as well. So thank you so much for your time. And you know, it's a beautiful place. I'm glad that I came all the way here just to get some yummy lunch from you guys. And I know Mandlakazi's food is really to the heart, and it did not disappoint yet again. Thanks, Mandla.
Thank you.
So previously we spoke to Mandlakazi Mbete, one of the founding owners of Fresh Yumm. And this is the sister we spoke about before the end of the interview, the second founding owner, Absi. So, Absi, let's just get to it. So you can tell us a little bit about Absi. Who is Absi and where are you from?
Okay, well, hello everyone. So my name is Absi Pandra, and Absi somehow comes from Abonga, and I'm from Port St. John's in the Eastern Cape, tiny little coastal town, absolutely lovely. And yeah, so I did my primary school there, and then high school I was in Queenstown and boarding school. Then came straight to Joburg, and I've never looked back.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, Absi, you are one of the founding owners of Fresh Yumm. Is this where it started? Did you just start at Fresh Yumm, or can you tell us a little bit about the journey of how you got to where you are right now?
All right, it's a longish story.
It's okay.
So I studied health and skincare at Camelot. And so I thought, really, what I want to do for the rest of my life is to paint nails and and have girl talk. I thought that was the career. Nothing against it at all. Big fan still. But anyway, so I studied that. I worked in that industry for about a year. But obviously through school I was already working in that industry. And then I had a fallout with my boss then. And I quit. Yeah, so I quit and I spent about a year being a groupie in Melville because there were a lot of like bands and like life was fun. I did lie to my parents and said I got fired and Joburg was so hard. It's okay, we've discussed it now. So yeah, and then after that I met Audrey Lamis, who's still a very good friend of mine, and then got me a job for a 3-month receptionist job at an events company. Firstly, I'd never heard of an events company before, and got me that job. So I worked there for 3 months, and then after that, I kind of like didn't leave. You know, my contract had ended, and but I offered to work for free. So I did work for free for about a month, and then after that, they saw my value in the company, so they kept me on, and 2 years later, I acquired some shares in the business, and so worked as client relationship manager mostly within the group, and for a couple of years till about 2013. Then that's when I branched off onto my own. And what I ran there then was a company called Call It IT, which is now Fresh RSVP Guest Logistics. Where we were a division of an events company where we take care of all the guests requirements for the event. We build databases, we do the invitations, click through websites, any like information. So pretty much taking care of your whole guest experience prior and during and post the event. And so I've been doing that for years. That business is still going. So started Fresh RSVP. It was 2006. Been doing that since. And Fresh Yumm. Well, no, then there was Fresh Elite Experiences, which is the event production side of things. And that not that it didn't last for long. It's still going, but it's not a huge focus for me right now. Then there was Fresh Yumm, which was a discussion over lunch with my sister. There was there was something missing in the events industry for me when it comes to catering service. And so we thought, okay, cool. So why don't we become that solution? So we did that. And that was in 2015. And she was still permanently employed. And so we started with her cooking at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. I come through, pick up the stuff, deliver, set up, and then if she needs to come and do anything for the lunch, she'll leave work. Like, her lunch breaks were at catering events. And it was just like me and her just seeing if it's something that we should go for. And so it's been going quite well since then. So that's Fresh Yumm, which now has given birth to other businesses. So there's Fresh Yumm Culinary Experiences, which is the catering side of things. We mainly do corporate catering, but we also do a lot of private catering as well. and at Fresh Yumm, so that's the catering side. Then we've got Fresh Yumm Cafe, which is the newest baby. So it is a deli, a patisserie, and it's like a cool brunch spot. I love brunch.
Everybody loves brunch. Not too early, and not too lunchy. So yes.
Exactly. I could brunch forever. Yeah, so that was like a passion project because we share the same sentiments, Nomandlakazi, and yeah, so it came from that. And then there's Shell. So we've got the very first Shell Select that is retail only, so it's not connected to a petroleum site, and we run that out of Bryanston at the campus. So it's a Shell Select store. We serve Fresh Yumm food via Deli by Shell, and we've got a Kauai in there as well. We do all the Kauai beverages, and yeah, so
Wow.
I think that's that.
Wow, Absi, that's a lot that you've actually achieved in this time. So tell us, this transition, because now you went from stability in terms of having an income that came in to running your own business. How has that journey been?
Yeah, guys, it's very emotional. The money conversation, because life was nice, right? When you're in a group of companies, you're getting your salary, everyone's quite comfortable, and life was good. I mean, we had a satellite office in Dubai, so we had beautiful, like, geez, man, we did events in like New York and Jakarta, Dubai, Rome, Barcelona, a lot in Dubai actually, Ghana. Things were nice, and then now, let me be free. Let me go. Bogodo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The freedom slapped me in the face a couple of times. It's still slapping me. And you know what? Like, because there's times where you feel like, okay, great, you're doing your own thing, like, you're leaving a legacy, etc. But it's hard. Like, it's very, very challenging. It's a very lonely road. Even if you do have like your family support system, etc., but it's not. It's quite lonely. Like it's hard, and nobody will ever understand it as much as you do. Yeah, but there's also like very good times where you land amazing contracts, you deliver, you better yourself, and those highs are definitely worth it.
Awesome. You spoke about a bit about traveling. How do you feel that traveling has helped to influence your business and the way you do things?
Oh yeah, no, seeing the world, man. It's well, I mean, it kind of like also shows you how other people are doing it. So it's a no-brainer that you should combine your knowledge from outside and bring it home. Not to say that what we're doing at home is not good enough at all. Like that's definitely not what I'm saying. But I'm just emphasizing the fact that travel kind of like opens your mind, and yeah, meeting completely different people, it allows you to adapt your business in different ways. I don't know.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And I know you've done a lot of traveling in Africa as well. So when you look at Africa and South Africa, in terms of, and I'm not saying compare, but like, how do you see us, versus the other countries within Africa?
Okay, firstly, we're spoiled. We are so spoiled. Not. I'm not saying everything's been handed to us. Don't get me wrong, but compared to other, you see a lot more of people's rawness. Like here, there's the people have got like they PR face, they PR whatever, because there is that life as well. So where you are Miss Fabulous, you're out there, things are happening, etc. And like, but then you go home, like back home, and then you don't know how to cook pap anymore, and things like that. So like that, you'd see a lot more of that in South Africa than in most of the rest of the countries on the continent.
Okay. All right, cool. So tell us a little bit about Afsi as a woman. What is your views about womanhood, entrepreneurship? Because I know you're not the conventional woman. So, so how does Afsi see womanhood and, being an entrepreneur, being who you are, any take on who is Afsi as a woman?
Ah, man. Okay, so lots to learn. I'm like on the road to learning and discovering myself always. And it's one of the things I actually enjoy about myself is that it's never, I'm very curious and it's never enough. And the fact that I'm free to explore all those parts of me, I think comes with being a woman. Like I've also become very comfortable with failures, which I understand to be completely different to what I knew what failures to be in my 20s. So it's, yeah, so tying that into, so entrepreneurship definitely will teach you a lot about failures. And the fact that I'm a woman, it complements each other. I find now though, but like it's not what I thought 5 years ago. Definitely not. I've been lost for a long time. But I think, yeah, it kind of like gives you that edge. Well, for me, it gives me that edge, and I wouldn't have it any other way, really.
So it's
Like,
a constant growth.
Yeah, it's growth. Like I'm comfortable to grow, and if it's not the right time or the right place, very comfortable with not kind of like just staying in that moment.
Okay, cool. No, look, I mean, it's a journey. We all walking through this journey, so it's. I can sort of relate a little bit to what you were saying, especially as women. Each day changes and it's something different. So, with that being said, what I would like to know is like, our last sort of question. What advice would you give young entrepreneurs, coming up right now, it's looking at the difficulties, looking at the good parts, looking at everything that you have experienced? What advice would you like to provide? Because, I mean, in South Africa, I feel we do need to develop more entrepreneurs because not everything is going to be sitting on corporate's head or government's head. So what advice would you provide to young entrepreneurs coming up?
Geez, okay. Definitely just jump. Like I always say this in my personal life and in business, just do it. Because the thing is, like, if it's going to, you'll never know until you try. And like, there's no right time. I don't think there's ever a right time to start a business. I've tried to do. I think okay. I probably started about 8 businesses, in the past couple of years, and with those 8, like it was never the right time. Like I've never had capital, so I just always started and did what I could with what I had, and so there's no. That's what I'm saying. Like there's never a right time. So like, just jump if you're thinking of it and there's that niggling feeling, and yeah, just trust that it's probably better on the other side. And the thing is, like, if it doesn't work out, it's still fine. It's life. Yeah, don't beat yourself up about that. Like I spent way too much time being like focusing on the failure, focusing on the things that didn't go right, that I didn't move on quickly enough in some instances. So yeah,
Try it out. I think the theme of between you and your sister, which is quite an important one for me, is use what you've got.
yeah.
I think a lot of people are sitting at home thinking, oh, but I'm not getting funding. Oh, I'm not getting this, and
I'll never get There's no funding.
I hear the 4 o'clock in the morning story, and I'm thinking that's the talent. Mandagazi has the talent to cook. She woke up, she cooked, and you guys made it with what you had. So, I find that very inspiring. Because at the end of the day, what else is there? If you don't get it, you'll never start, is what I think.
And use no's. Like when someone actually says no to you, use it. Like it's so much growth. There's so much growth in someone not buying into you, because all you've gone in, you've sold yourself, you've sold whatever product or service, and they just said no. Use that. Like I didn't use it. I would go into this insane depression after every failed pitch or proposal back in the day. Now I might get a kick out of it, like when someone actually says no, because especially if you've got the chance to ask them to elaborate, like, on why you didn't get that specific job, because it's room. You have to listen to your client, like otherwise what are you doing this for? You're doing it for yourself. I mean, I've done quite a bit of that, but also use the nose to fuel you. If you need to be angry about it, be angry about it. You have to feel all the emotions. Like there's no, there's that perfect balance of, excuse my language, shit fucking out, and like things going really really well. So, and that for me is a golden moment. So it's okay. Like this, you need. It's a yin yang.
Wow, that's so awesome. Thank you, Absi. You guys are really very inspiring. You've walked this journey. I know you're still walking a journey. But we wish you all the best and all the success in the world. And we definitely will be following your journey going forward. And yeah, so all the best, ladies and gentlemen. Mandlakazi and Absi Pandra, or Abonga, as we all know her. Yes, okay, well, I'm not going to pull the other name. But yeah, an amazing and inspiring journey. Look out when you're in Johannesburg, go to the Fresh Yumm patisserie deli. The food there is absolutely amazing. And looking forward to more years of your success, Absi.
Thank you. Thanks so much,
Thank
man.
you. Cheers.